Paralyzed baker refused the millionaire's pity money. He said, "Then hire me instead." Hello everyone and welcome back to Romance Rewind Stories. Before we dive into today's incredible story, I have a small favor to ask. If you're enjoying these heartwarming tales, please hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our latest uploads. It's quick, it's free, and it's the best way to support us in bringing you more emotional romance stories. And here's something I'd love to know. Where are you watching from today? Drop your city or country in the comments below. I always enjoy seeing our amazing community from around the world. Oh, and if this story touches your heart, don't forget to hit the like button. It really helps us grow and reach more people who love these kinds of tales. Now, let's get into today's story. Paralyzed baker refused the millionaire's pity money. He said, "Then hire me instead." The morning sun filtered through the large windows of Sweet Horizons Bakery, casting golden light across the display cases filled with perfectly frosted cupcakes and artisan breads. Elowen Cross wheeled herself behind the counter with practiced ease, her strong arms guiding her chair through the narrow space she'd learned to navigate over the past 5 years. At 29, Elowen had built something she was proud of. The bakery wasn't large, just a small storefront in a modest neighborhood, but it was hers. Every recipe, every decoration, every customer interaction was a testament to the life she'd rebuilt after the accident that had paralyzed her from the waist down. The bell above the door chimed, and Elowen looked up with her practiced smile, ready to greet another customer. But the man who walked in made her pause. He was tall, probably in his mid-30s, wearing a suit that screamed money, tailored perfectly, probably custom-made. His dark hair was styled with casual precision, and his features were sharp and striking. But what caught Elowen's attention was the way he looked around the bakery. Not with the dismissive glance of someone slumming it in a small shop, but with genuine curiosity. "Good morning," Elowen called out. "What can I get you today?" The man approached the counter, and his eyes widened slightly when he saw her wheelchair. But unlike most people, he didn't let his gaze linger or offer that pitying look she'd come to hate. He simply met her eyes and smiled. "Everything looks incredible," he said. "What do you recommend?" "Depends," Elowen replied, already warming to him. "Are you a chocolate person, fruit person, or adventurous?" "Adventurous," he said without hesitation. She grinned. "Then you want the lavender honey cake with rosemary cream. Sounds weird, tastes like heaven." He laughed, a genuine warm sound. "Sold! I'll take a slice, and a coffee, black." As Elowen prepared his order, she could feel him watching her work. But it wasn't the uncomfortable staring she was used to. He seemed genuinely interested in the process, the way she maneuvered her chair, the precision of her plating, the care she took with presentation. "You made all of these?" he asked, gesturing to the display cases. "Every single one," Elowen confirmed, setting his plate and coffee on the counter. "I open at 6, bake until we open at 8, and keep going until we close at 6. "That's a long day." "It's my business," she said simply. "Long days come with the territory." He took a bite of the cake, and his eyes actually closed in appreciation. "Oh my God, this is incredible, legitimately incredible. I've eaten at Michelin-starred restaurants, and this is better than anything I've had." Elowen felt herself flush with pride. "Thank you. That means a lot." "I'm Beckett, by the way," he said, extending his hand across the counter. "Beckett Thorne." She shook his hand, noting his firm but not aggressive grip. "Elowen Cross. Nice to meet you." "Elowen," he repeated, as if testing the name. "Beautiful name for a beautiful bakery." He paused. "And a talented baker." Over the next 2 weeks, Beckett became a regular. Every morning at 8:15, he'd walk through the door, order something different each time, and spend 30 minutes eating slowly while working on his laptop. He always sat at the table by the window, always complimented whatever he ordered, and always left a generous tip. But what surprised Elowen most was how he talked to her. Not at her, not around her disability, but to her, like she was just another person. He asked about recipes, about her process, about her favorite things to bake. Never once did he ask about her chair or what had happened, or offer unsolicited advice about treatments or inspirational platitudes. Then one morning, everything changed. Elowen was in the kitchen when she heard raised voices from the front. She wheeled out quickly to find her landlord, Mr. Patterson, standing at the counter with a stack of papers. "I'm sorry, Miss Cross, but I can't give you any more extensions," he was saying. "The rent increase goes into effect next month. If you can't pay, I'll have to find someone who can." Elowen's stomach dropped. "Mr. Patterson, please, I just need a few more months to build up business. I'm barely breaking even as it is." "That's not my problem," he said, not unkindly but firmly. "I have bills too. The building next door sold for twice what I thought it was worth. Property values are going up. I can't afford to rent below market rate anymore." "How much is the increase?" she asked, though she was afraid of the answer. "Triple," he said. "From 2,000 to 6,000 a month." The world seemed to tilt. Triple? There was no way. Absolutely no way she could afford that. "That's insane," Elowen breathed. "That's designed to push me out." "It's designed to match market rate," Patterson said. "I'm sorry, I really am. You have until the end of next month to decide." He left, the bell chiming cheerfully as if it hadn't just witnessed the death of her dream. Elowen sat frozen behind the counter, staring at the papers he'd left. $6,000 a month. She barely cleared $3,000 in profit on a good month. She'd have to close. 5 years of work gone. Elowen? She'd forgotten Beckett was there. He stood from his table, concern etched on his face. "Are you okay?" "I couldn't help but overhear." "I'm fine," she said automatically, then laughed bitterly. "Actually, no, I'm not fine. I'm about to lose my business because apparently gentrification has finally found this neighborhood." Beckett was quiet for a moment. Then, "How much do you need?" She looked at him sharply. "What?" "To cover the rent increase. How much do you need?" "I don't need your pity money," Elowen said, her voice hardening. She dealt with this before. People who saw her chair and wanted to feel good about themselves by playing savior. "I'll figure it out." "It's not pity," Beckett said calmly. "It's a business investment." "You don't even know what I make here." "I know your lavender honey cake is the best thing I've ever tasted," Beckett interrupted. "I know you're here before dawn and don't leave until dark. I know every single customer who walks in here leaves smiling. That's not nothing, Elowen. That's worth investing in." "I can't accept your charity," she said firmly. "I won't." Beckett studied her for a long moment. Then, to her complete surprise, he said, "Then hire me instead." Elowen blinked. "What?" "Hire me," he repeated. "I'll work here. Whatever you need, customer service, cleaning, delivery, bookkeeping. In exchange, I'll cover the rent difference until you're making enough profit to handle it yourself." "That's insane," Elowen said. "You're wearing a suit that probably costs more than my monthly profit. Why would you want to work in a bakery?" "Because I'm tired," Beckett said simply. The honesty in his voice made her pause. "I'm tired of boardrooms and hostile takeovers and people who only talk to me because they want something. I'm tired of meetings about meetings and conference calls that could have been emails. I miss making things with my hands. I miss being around people who create instead of destroy." He leaned against the counter. "I'm the CEO of Thorn Acquisitions. We buy struggling companies, strip them for parts, and sell off the pieces. I'm very good at it. I'm also very good at hating myself for it." Elowen stared at him. This confident, polished man suddenly looked lost. "So let me do something good," Beckett continued. "Let me help build something instead of tearing things apart. And if you're worried about charity, don't be. I'll work hard. You can fire me if I'm terrible. But please, let me try." Every logical part of Elowen's brain screamed that this was a terrible idea. But there was something in his eyes, a desperation that mirrored her own, that made her hesitate. 1 month, she finally said. Trial period. You work 40 hours a week, minimum wage. I cover the original rent, you cover the increase. If it doesn't work out, we part ways. No hard feelings. Relief flooded Beckett's face. Deal. And one more thing, Elowen added. No more suits. You work here, you dress like someone who works in a bakery. He grinned. Yes, ma'am. The next morning, Beckett showed up at 6 a.m. in jeans and a plain t-shirt, looking somehow more attractive than he had in his expensive suit. Elowen put him to work immediately, mixing dough, washing dishes, learning the register. He was terrible at first. He burned a batch of cookies, forgot to greet customers, and nearly knocked over an entire display case. But he never complained, never acted like the work was beneath him. He just kept trying, and slowly he got better. By the second week, he could work the register without help. By the third, he was suggesting marketing ideas that actually made sense. By the fourth, customers were specifically asking for that nice man with the dimples. But more than that, Elowen found herself looking forward to the mornings, to Beckett's terrible jokes while they prepped dough, to the way he listened when she talked about recipe ideas, to the comfortable silence that fell between them during the late afternoon lull. One evening, after they'd closed and were cleaning up, Beckett asked, "Can I ask you something?" "Sure," Elowen said, wiping down the counter. "Why did you get so angry when I offered to help? The first time, I mean." Elowen sighed, setting down her cloth. "Because people see my chair, and they want to fix me, or save me, or feel good about themselves by helping the poor disabled girl. They don't see me, they see a charity case." "I never saw you that way," Beckett said quietly. "I know that now," Elowen admitted. "But I didn't know it then. You have to understand, after my accident, everyone treated me differently. Friends, family, strangers. They either pitied me or avoided me. I learned pretty quickly that I had to prove I was capable, or people would just see the chair." "What happened?" Beckett asked gently. "If you want to talk about it." Elowen was quiet for a moment, then, "Drunk driver 5 years ago. I was crossing the street, he ran a red light, woke up in the hospital paralyzed from the waist down." She met his eyes. "Sounds tragic, right? But here's the thing, I don't feel tragic. I feel lucky. I survived. I built this business. I have a life I love. The chair is just how I move through the world now." "That's incredible," Beckett said. "Your strength, I mean." "It's not strength," Elowen corrected. "It's stubbornness. There's a difference." He laughed. "Fair enough." "What about you?" Elowen asked. "Why do you really want to work here? And don't give me the tired of boardrooms line. There's more to it." Beckett leaned against the counter, his expression turning serious. "My father built Thorn Acquisitions. He was ruthless, brilliant, but ruthless. When he died, he left the company to me with explicit instructions. Grow it, dominate the market, never show weakness." He paused. "I've spent 10 years following those instructions. I'm one of the youngest billionaires in the country. I'm also one of the loneliest." His voice dropped. "I've destroyed more businesses than I can count. Put people out of work. Torn apart companies that families built over generations. All for profit. And every day I look in the mirror and see my father staring back, and I hate it." "Then why do you keep doing it?" Elowen asked softly. "Because I didn't know how to stop," Beckett admitted. "Till I walked into your bakery and saw someone who'd built something beautiful with their own hands. Someone who fought to keep it alive, and I thought, that's what I want. Not to destroy, to create, to matter in a way that doesn't involve making people suffer." Elowen felt her throat tighten. "You matter here, Beckett. You've made a real difference these past few weeks. To the business, but also—" She hesitated. "Also to me." He looked at her, and something shifted in the air between them. "Elowen, I'm falling for you," she blurted out, then immediately wanted to take it back. "Sorry, that was inappropriate. You work for me, and I just dumped that on you." "I'm falling for you too," Beckett interrupted. I have been since that first day when you recommended the weird lavender cake without caring that I was in an expensive suit. You just saw me as a customer, as a person. No one's done that in years." "This is complicated," Elowen whispered. "I don't care," Beckett said, moving closer. "I know it's fast. I know we work together. I know I'm supposed to be your employee, but I can't pretend anymore that I'm just here for the job. I'm here because you make me want to be better. You make me believe I can be more than my father's legacy." "I can't promise this will be easy," Elowen said, her heart pounding. "Dating someone with a disability comes with challenges. Accessibility issues, stares, people who'll judge you for being with me." "Stop," Beckett said gently, taking her hand. "I don't care about any of that. I care about you, the woman who creates magic with flour and sugar, the woman who refuses to accept pity, the woman who sees me, really sees me, for who I am and not what I'm worth." He knelt down so they were eye level. "Your chair doesn't scare me, Elowen. Losing you does." Tears filled her eyes. "You really mean that?" "Every word." She pulled him close and kissed him, tasting sugar and hope and something that felt like forever. 6 months later, Sweet Horizons had expanded into the space next door. Beckett had officially stepped down as CEO of Thorn Acquisitions, selling his shares and using the money to start a foundation that helped small businesses survive in gentrifying neighborhoods. On the day of the bakery's grand reopening, Elowen sat behind the new counter, watching customers flood in. The space was fully accessible now, with wide aisles and lowered counters. But more than that, it felt like home. Beckett appeared at her side, flour on his shirt from the morning's baking session. "Happy?" he asked. "Incredibly," Elowen said, taking his hand. "Thank you. For everything." "Thank you," Beckett replied, "for teaching me that the best things in life aren't bought, they're built together." He knelt beside her chair, and her heart skipped. "Beckett, what are you—" "Elowen Cross," he said, pulling out a small box. "Will you marry the guy who burned your cookies and knocked over your display case, but loves you more than anything in the world?" She laughed through her tears. "Only if you promise to keep working here." "Forever," he said. "I promise forever." "Then yes," Elowen whispered, 1,000 times yes." As they kissed, customers applauded, and somewhere in the background a timer went off, reminding them that a fresh batch of lavender honey cakes was ready. Their signature creation. The one that had brought them together. And that's where our story ends today. What did you think? Did Elowen and Beckett's journey touch your heart? Let us know in the comments what your favorite moment was. If you enjoyed this story, we have so many more waiting for you. Check out our playlist for more heartwarming romance tales that will make you believe in love all over again. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and give us a thumbs up. Your support means everything to us. Until next time, keep believing in love, keep believing in second chances, and remember, the best stories are the ones that remind us we all deserve our happily ever after. See you in the next story.